10 companies now build almost half the new homes in America, and in the biggest cities, it's closer to 80%. That is not an accident. It's a playbook, and a quiet $2 billion deal this month just ran it again. It got a few headlines and vanished, which is exactly how they want it, because that boring little merger decides how many new homes get built where you live and what they cost. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the real business model of modern home building, why the smartest builders barely own any land, why they'd rather buy a rival than build houses, and how those 10 companies pulled it off. It's all from the deal filings, the builders' own numbers, and the housing data, no speculation. Because the number that matters here isn't $2 billion, it's that 80%, and by the end you'll know exactly why it should worry any home buyer. Let's start with a deal everyone ignored. On August 7, 2026, a builder called Dreamfinders Homes agreed to buy a bigger, older rival, Beazer Homes, for $33.50 a share, all cash. About $2.2 billion once you count the debt. On the surface, boring. Two companies you don't follow, combining. Move on. But watch what it actually did. Overnight, Dreamfinders jumped from the 14th largest home builder in America to the 6th. One check, and it leapfrogged 8 competitors. And here's the thing, this wasn't a one-off. It's happening everywhere, all at once, and almost nobody outside the industry is talking about it. To understand why, you have to stop thinking about home builders as companies that build homes. Because the ones winning this game figured out something counterintuitive. The money isn't in the houses. Let me show you. There are 2 moves in this playbook. The first is what they don't own. The second is who they buy. Move 1. Don't own the land. Here's what most people assume a home builder does. Buy a big piece of land, develop it, build houses on it, sell them. Simple. The problem with that model is that land is enormously expensive, and it just sits there, tying up cash for years before a single house sells. In the industry, there's a nickname for carrying all that land and inventory. They call it the dumb tax. So the smartest builders stopped paying it. Dreamfinders runs what's called a land-light model. Instead of buying land, it signs option contracts. It pays a small fee for the right to buy finished lots later, just in time, only when it's ready to build. It controls a huge pipeline of lots while owning almost none of them. Think about what that does. Your cash isn't frozen in dirt. Your balance sheet stays clean. Your return on every dollar goes way up. And, this is the key part, you're left holding a pile of capital that the old-school land-heavy builders don't have. Which sets up move 2. Move 2. Don't build market share. Buy it. Building your way to scale, new communities, new markets, one house at a time, is slow and expensive. But if you're sitting on capital because you're not tying it up in land, there's a faster way to grow. Buy the competitor who did tie up their capital, right when they're weakest. That's Beazer. In its most recent quarter, Beazer's core earnings had roughly halved from a year earlier. It posted a net loss. Its credit rating got cut to B-. It's a decent builder caught in a slow, high-interest rate market, exactly the kind of company that becomes affordable. Dreamfinders bought it for less than the accounting value of its own assets, a bargain made possible by someone else's bad year. And this is the pattern behind the whole company. Dreamfinders built 27 homes in Jacksonville in 2009. By 2025, it was closing more than $44,000 a year, not mainly by building, but by acquiring. Buy the local builder, take their land and their teams, repeat. Now, widen the lens, because Dreamfinders is a small example of a very big trend. In the last year, the giants have been on a buying spree. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway bought Taylor Morrison, a top 10 builder, for about $6.8 billion. A Japanese company, Sumitomo Forestry, bought Tri Pointe Homes for around $4.5 billion. Berkshire, Japanese conglomerates, private equity, the deepest-pocketed players in the world decided that American home builders were something worth owning and started buying them up. And the number of builders getting these offers is climbing fast. In under a year, the share of builders who'd been approached about a merger doubled. And it's not just the giants merging at the top. Underneath them, the small and mid-sized local builders, the independent operators who used to keep the big ones honest on price, are getting crushed. Rising land costs, tariffs on materials, labor shortages, and mortgage rates they can't afford to buy down the way the giants can. Most of them now have two options: sell to a bigger builder or fold. Either way, the local competition quietly disappears. So here's where it all lands. Stack up a decade of this, and you get a market that looks completely different than it used to. In the early 1990s, the 10 largest home builders in America built less than 10% of the country's new homes. Today, the top 10 build 44%. And in the 50 biggest metro areas, the cities where most people actually want to live, a handful of large builders now put up close to 80% of all new homes. That's the 80% from the intro. Let it sink in. In the market for the most expensive thing you will ever buy, 4 out of 5 new homes in a major city now come from a tiny, shrinking club of companies, and that club is buying up the last of its competition right now, on purpose. So why should you care if the logo on the sign changes? Because concentration is quiet power. When a few builders control most of the new supply in your city, something shifts that never shows up in a headline. They no longer have to compete very hard on price. You can already see the fingerprints. Big builders have been tightening how many unsold homes they'll carry. One of the largest cut its unsold inventory by up to a third, because controlling supply protects prices. At the same time, 2/3 of builders are papering over weak demand with incentives, like temporarily buying down your mortgage rate instead of just cutting the sticker price. On a typical new home, those sweeteners can be worth tens of thousands of dollars, real money. But notice the form they take: a rate buy-down, a closing credit, free upgrades, anything but a lower price. Why? Because a lower rate is a discount you can quietly take away later. A lower price resets what every house on the street is worth. That's the tell. In a competitive market, weak demand forces prices down. In a concentrated one, it gets managed, with gimmicks that protect the price. Scale really can make building cheaper, but when the savings meet this little competition, they don't have to reach you. So let's go back to that boring $2 billion merger. It was never really about two companies. It was one more move in a decade-long consolidation that has quietly handed a few giant builders control over how many homes get built in your city, and therefore what they cost. The number that matters was never $2 billion. It's the number of companies left deciding whether a new home gets built near you, and at what price. And that number is getting smaller every single time one of these boring deals slips past you. Fewer builders isn't just fewer names on the sign. It's less competition on the biggest purchase of your life. And the people running this playbook are counting on you to keep scrolling past it. So, if this was worth your time, take 2 seconds and subscribe. I break down a new one twice a week. Hit the like button while you're at it. And tell me in the comments, is builder consolidation just efficiency, or is it quietly propping up home prices? I read every single one.